Welcome back, everybody, to another beginner guitar lesson. This is, I believe, is episode 6. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be expanding our knowledge of the major scale. And the major scale essentially sets the foundation for everything that happens in music. It can all be boiled back down to one place in time, and that is the major scale. So it's very important to learn and understand what the major scale is if you want to learn the more advanced concepts. So what we're going to be doing here is just giving you what is called the harmonized major scale. So let's start at the beginning. The major scale itself is this, okay? We're just going to do everything. I think we'll do it in the key of A, okay? So I'm going to put the key of A up on screen. And what I mean by harmonized is music is created using chords. And chords are when you take multiple notes from one scale and play them together. And the reason they sound good is because they're a certain distance apart and they're all from the same scale. So if we're going to do an A chord from the key of A, we're going to play the first, third, and fifth note of that scale all together. Now on guitar, the A chord looks and sounds like this. Okay? Within that sound contains the A note, the C sharp note, and the E note, all from the A major scale. So what we're going to do is go through and name all of the chords within the scale. So I'm going to be giving you the letter and the quality of the chord. And what the quality basically means is it major, is it minor, is it dominant, is it diminished, okay? So the one chord in the key of A is A major. The 2 chord is B minor. The 3 chord is C sharp minor. The 4 chord is D major. The 5 chord is E major, or E7, or E dominant. The 7 and the dominant are the same, 2 names for the same thing. The 7 is when you add a 4th note to the chord. And I feel it's really important to know as much about the dominant chord as possible, because that is the chord that makes music so powerful. Onto the 6th chord in the key of A, which is F sharp minor. And then finally, the 7th chord in A major is G sharp half diminished. Now, the half diminished chord is not one of the more often used chords, so I'm really not going to give that much attention now. That'll come later. But just know that that's what that is, just so you're not confused. So the whole point of this video is to understand what the major scale is and how you get chords from the major scale, and then get acquainted with what each of those chords is in terms of the letter, how it pertains to the scale, and the quality of the chord, which again means major, minor, diminished, or dominant. So I think the only thing I'm going to talk about in closing is just the summary for you. An easy way to remember this. And just so you know, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but there are 12 major scales. So the way the guitar is set up, you have your open string. We're just going to deal with string 6, E. And you have 12 frets going from the open string up to the double dot. Each one of those frets is a note, and each one of those notes is the starting point for a major scale. So you have 12 major scales in all. So even though the letter names will be different as you go through the sequences, the qualities of those chords that are created from those scales are the same. So in closing, in summation of the chords themselves, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are all always major chords in a major key. And then the 2 chord, 3 chord, and 6 chord are always minor chords in a major key. Okay? Don't get confused with there being minor chords in a major key. because minor and major chords aren't specific to the type of scale they're in. There's always going to be minor chords and major chords in every type of scale. That's just how it works. So it's a major key. The major chords are 1, 4, 5. The minor chords are 2, 3, 6. And you can apply that to all 12 major keys, all 12 major scales. The other thing I want to make note of is that 5 chord is more specifically known as the dominant chord. I'm just going to throw that out there. That'll come later, but we'll just set the stage with that. If anybody has any questions on anything I'm discussing here, please let me know. Also, if anybody has any specific confusion about music or hang-ups on a specific topic, I will make a viewer-requested video. Okay? Feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I will address it in due time. As always, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.